The yarn that I used is Expression Fiber Arts Tall Bearded Iris Sparkle DK. I used 3 hanks of this yarn and I worked with a hook size F 3.75 millimeters. This is a somewhat pricey yarn, and if you'd like a budget-friendly substitute, I recommend Caron Simply Soft Putty yarn. Even though that yarn is 100% acrylic, it is somewhat similar in softness and it also has a metallic strand. I start with 8 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and now into the 4th chain from the hook I will make a slip stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Over here I make a slip stitch. These 3 chains formed a little ring. Next I make a slip stitch into each one of the next 2 chains. 1, 2. And over here I still have 2 chains left, but at this point I'm going to turn my work this way, so these 2 chains go to the right and the working yarn tail goes underneath, and I will be crocheting this way. So first I make 5 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And into the ring right here I work a double crochet. 5 chains again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the ring again I work a double crochet. 5 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the ring a double crochet. Now I work 3 chains only. 1, 2, 3, and I make a slip stitch into the second of these 2 chains right here. So I basically join the round like this. Here is what I have. Now I have this short yarn tail and I can just work over it so it gets hidden. I will be working in this direction. First I make 1 chain and into the space right here I work a single crochet. Next I will be working into this next chain space and I will be working over this short yarn tail so it gets hidden. First I make 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Next, into the same space I work 3 trebles. 1, 2, and 3. Now 5 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into this same space right here I make a slip stitch. So here is what I have. Next I will be working into the next chain space, and again I will be working over this short yarn tail so it gets hidden. And first I work 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now 3 trebles. 1, 2, and 3. 5 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a slip stitch into that same chain space. So here I have 2 petals worked, and the same way I'm going to work one more into this next chain space. So again, it's gonna be 4 double crochets and 3 trebles. Here I work those 4 double crochets and 3 trebles. So now I have 3 petals worked, but here I'm not gonna make 5 chains and a slip stitch the way I did here. Instead, I'm going to work 14 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and into the 4th chain from the hook I make a slip stitch. Again, I have a small ring formed by 3 chains. Into each one of the next 2 chains I work a slip stitch. 1, 2. Now I'm going to turn my work this way so that this half motif is going to be to the right, and I will be crocheting this way again into the ring. So first I work 5 chains, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the ring I make a double crochet. Again 5 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the ring again a double crochet. 5 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the ring a double crochet. Now I work 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to join this ring into the second chain of these chains right here. So here is the first one, here is the second one. That's where I make a slip stitch. And now I have this ring again. Again, I turn my work this way so that I can continue working around the circle and will be making these petals again. First I make 1 chain, and into this same space I work a single crochet. Now into the next chain I work 4 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now I work 3 trebles. 1, 2, and 3. Before I continue crocheting petals, I need to join this petal to this petal right here, the middle petal of the first motif. So here is what I do. I remove the hook. Look again, this is the middle petal of the first motif. Here is the 5 chains, and here is a treble. So I pass the hook under the 2 loops of that first treble, and then I pass the loop over here under that treble, under the loop of that treble. And here the 2 motifs are joined, or these 2 petals are joined. So now I work 5 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into this same chain space I work a slip stitch. Let's take a look how the motifs are joined, like that. Now I'm going to continue crocheting into the next chain space, and again, just the way I worked before, I work 4 double crochets, and then 3 trebles. 1, 2, and 3. 5 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the chain space a slip stitch. So this is what it looks like so far. Now I continue crocheting into this chain space, and again 4 double crochets and 3 trebles. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3. Here is what I have. And now again, I'm gonna make 14 chains and start creating the next motif. So 14 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And into the 4th chain from the hook, a slip stitch. Then a slip stitch into each one of the next 2 chains. Then I turn my work this way so that these motifs are to the right, and I'm going to create a circle working into this ring. So first 5 chains, and into the ring a double crochet. Again 5 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the ring a double crochet. 5 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the ring a double crochet. And now 3 chains only, 2, 3, and I join with a slip stitch into the 2nd chain of these chains. So 1, 2, right here I make a slip stitch, and now I have this circle formed. Again, I turn my work so the motifs are to the right, and I will be working the same way I did before. 1 chain, and into this space a single crochet. Into the next space I work 4 double crochets, and then 3 trebles. 1, 2, and 3. Here is what I have. Again, I'm going to join this new motif to the previous one. So it's gonna be the middle petal of this motif, so right here, and the first treble over here. Under the top 2 loops I insert the hook, and then I pass that loop through, and now 5 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the space right here a single crochet. So again the petals are joined, and now I can continue crocheting, working these 2 petals right here the same way. So 4 double crochets, then 3 trebles. here I worked them. Now 5 chains, and into the chain space I work a slip stitch. And again, the same way, I'm going to work the next petal. 4 double crochets and 3 trebles. So here I worked them, and again now I will be starting the next motif. So again I will work 14 chains, then I will make a ring and continue crocheting, working on the next motif. And in my actual scarf I had 5 motifs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the width of the scarf was 5 motifs. But for the purpose of the tutorial, I'm going to stop here and show you how to work the next row, which is gonna go this way. So instead of working 14 chains now, I'm actually going to finish the petals on these sides, because as you can see, each one of these motifs are missing 1 petal. So over here I work 5 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a slip stitch into the chain space. So now this petal is finished, and into this space right here I'm going to work the next petal. So 4 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, and next 3 trebles. 1, 2, and 3. And as you can see, this motif is almost finished. I have this chain right here, and into the last chain of all of these chains I'm going to make a slip stitch like this. Now I'm going to finish the petals of this middle motif. So first I work 5 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into this space right here I work a slip stitch. Now I'm going to work this petal, so 4 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 3 trebles. 1, 2, 3, and again into the last chain of these chains right here. It actually looks as it's the one before the last, but this chain right here is not really a chain, it's the loop of the last stitch over here. So basically in this chain right here is where I make a slip stitch. Now 2 motifs are finished, and I need to finish this one. So I work 5 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into this chain space right here I make a slip stitch, and into the last space I'm finishing the last petal. So 4 double crochets, and 3 trebles. And here I have 3 motifs finished. Now I'm going to start working on the next row of motifs, and I start with 14 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And now into the first chain from the hook, the way I did before, I make a slip stitch, and then into each one of the next 2 chains I also make a slip stitch. I turn my work the way I did before, so all the motifs must be to the right, and I work 5 chains, and into the ring I work a double crochet. So here I'm doing the same thing I did before, 5 chains and a double crochet, 5 chains and a double crochet. But for the last loop I'm going to make only 3 chains, and I join with a slip stitch into the second chain. 1, 2, right here into the second chain. Here I have this ring, and I'm going to continue working the way I did before. 1 chain and into the space a single crochet. First 4 double crochets, and then 3 trebles. 1, 2, and 3. And before I continue, I need to join this motif to the previous one. So the spot where I'm going to join it, oops, I need to be careful not to lose my last stitch. Okay, so I will be joining it over here in between these 2 petals of these 2 motifs. So this is where I insert the hook under 2 loops, and then this loop I pass under it like this, and 5 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into this space a slip stitch. So let's take a look how the motifs are joined. Next I'm going to work on the next petal over here. So into this chain space I work 4 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then I work 3 trebles, 1, 2, and 3. Let's take a look. This is what it looks like, and now I need to start the next motif. So I only worked 2 petals of the first motif in the second row, and I'm already starting working on the next one. So I make 14 chains, and into the fourth chain from the hook a slip stitch, and then a slip stitch into each one of the next 2 chains. And now I continue working a circle just the way I did before. Here I worked this next circle, and now I'm starting to work on the next petal, but first 1 chain and a single crochet here, and then the next petal. So 4 double crochets and 3 trebles. One, 2, and 3. And again, I need to join this petal. I need to turn it. I need to make sure this chain is not twisted. So here is the first petal of the next motif, and I'm going to join this petal over here. I'm going to pass the hook over here into the middle where 3 petals were already joined. Then I get this loop back on the hook and I pass it under, and then 5 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a slip stitch. Let's take a look. And this is how the petals are joined. So the next petal I'm going to work over here, and I will join it to the space right here. So let me work it and show you how I join it. Here I work the next petal, and I'm going to join it right here where these 2 petals are already joined. And then 5 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a slip stitch right here. Okay, let's take a look again. What am I gonna do next? Next, I'm going to work a petal right here, and then once I work a petal right here, I'm gonna start working on the next motif. Here I work the next petal, and now I will work one more motif over here, and I will join it over here at the first treble of this petal right there. And here I finished that last motif, I joined it, and now I will be working in this direction. I will finish these unfinished petals just the way I did over here in the previous row of motifs. Now I finished the petals at the top of this row of motifs. Here is what I have. And now I'm going to start the next row of motifs, the third row. Notice that the motif over here is going to stay unfinished until I've made all the rows that I need for my scarf, and then I will work on this side and finish these last petals. So in the first row all the petals are worked, but starting with the second row of motifs, this side of the motif of the first motif is going to stay unworked until the very end. So I'm gonna make one more row of motifs, and then I will show you how to finish this side. So here I added one more row of motifs, and now I'm going to show you how to finish this side, finish all the last missing petals. And for the actual scarf, I had 5 motifs over here and 24 over here in length. Okay, so let me show you how to finish this side. So I turn my work this way because I will be crocheting along this side, and I make 5 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a slip stitch into the chain space. And here is the next chain space, and I make a petal the same way as before. So first 4 double crochets, and then 3 trebles. 1, 2, and 3. I join with a slip stitch into this chain right here, and this motif is now all finished. I work 5 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a slip stitch into the chain space. And again, the next motif, I work it the way I did before. 4 double crochets and 3 trebles. One, 2, and 3. And then a slip stitch into the chain right here. And now over here the petal is already made. All I need to do is 5 chains and a slip stitch into the chain space, and then I can fasten off. And that's basically how this pattern works.